please make sure you go over to YouTube, subscribe, or you can always find us on any of the podcast platforms, and that's Fostering Change. Well, it's so hard to believe that we are already into 2024. What a year 2023 was. I think a lot about it. So many amazing things, had happened. Number one, we finalized the adoption of our fifth child, which to me is a great celebration. I actually spent this year about 192 nights in hotels, which was not as great, but it was really going around and making sure that we're educating people about foster care. My next guest, when I heard about the organization that her and her husband had founded, it was just that light bulb moment. For me as a kid who aged out of the system and was homeless, there's nothing that saddens my heart more than when I hear about children who are sleeping in office buildings or kids who are literally, I just recently was visiting a place where there were kids like sleeping in a hotel, and yeah, a hotel's okay, but they're kids. They need to be in a home. So without further ado, I want to introduce you all to my friend Jennifer Tice. Jennifer is the co-founder of LilyPad. Jennifer, welcome to Fostering Change.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So Jennifer, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
First of all, I got to tell you, before we even start from the beginning, I got to tell you, I love your children's names, Reese, Zach, and Eric. My husband's name is Reese, spelled Reece. And when we were adopting our fourth child, he was a baby, and my husband said, we need to pick a name. And so I was like, by this time, I have 4 kids in 3 months, by the way. And I said, I'm exhausted. I was like, what name do you want? And he says,
You
I
had
love the
decision
name.
fatigue.
He says, I love the name Tristan. And I said, oh, so do I. And he says, and I said, but I love your name. I love the name Reese. And he's like, only if we can spell it Rhys. And so that's so crazy. So my son's name is Reese, middle name is Reese, Rhys. So
I had no idea.
So how did you decide Reese?
So that's my maiden name. I was Jennifer Reese, Rees. And then my grandmother, when I was growing up, I don't know, she used Rhys for different things, maybe passwords and stuff. And I was like, where'd that come from? And she told me that was how they spelled it, like in Wales and Scotland and things, and our family ancestry is from there. And so when we had our daughter, I asked my husband, I said, can we use the name Reese? It's my maiden name, but let's spell it Rhys.
That's amazing. I love that. Yeah. I absolutely love that. Well, listen, let's jump into your organization, LilyPad. You're actually located in North Carolina. Is that South Carolina?
South Carolina, yes.
In South Carolina. So, I want to go right from the beginning. What made you decide to do this? And tell us all about LilyPad.
Okay, so my husband and I started as foster parents. We've been foster parents for 11 years in the state of South Carolina. We have adopted our sons through foster care here in South Carolina, and also had 40, I think we're at 40 children through our home and family. And my background, I'm a registered nurse in labor and delivery. And we often were taking infants, sometimes infants that had to go through withdrawals or things like that. And that was something that we managed a lot. And my husband was in law enforcement, so he was on the other side. He was going into homes and having to do emergency protective custody situations. And so that's where we learned of the need of foster care. And I would say it was a few years ago, we had a child placed with us at the time who was going through reunification with her biological family. So she was gone on the weekends, and we learned of specifically older children spending more time in the Department of Social Services offices waiting for placement. And so we reached out because the adoptions office here in the upstate of South Carolina is about 5 minutes down the road from us, and the Department of Social Services office is about 5 minutes down the road from us the other direction. And so we said, if there's going to be children in the office on the weekends, we may not be able to take them as permanent placement, but the room will be open, and so they can come stay here. So that's how we learned of Ashlyn. So Ashlyn's story is pretty important to LilyPad. So we had a teenage girl. They called us immediately. A 15-year-old teenage girl needs a place for the weekend. And so she came to stay with us. And we learned of Ashlyn's experience in foster care since the age of 3, and that she had been in and out of different foster homes. She was one of 4 siblings. She had always been placed with her sister. Her brothers had been adopted, and she and her sister had actually been adopted and suffered abuse in their adoptive family. And that just broke our hearts, especially as an adoptive family. And when we learned of this, our whole family stepped in, my parents and my sister, who all live here locally. And we just said, this stops here. They said they would help us keep the girls here in our home while we worked through their case as well. So we ended up having 6 children in our home. We moved Ashlyn's sister in because they had always been together and we didn't want them to be separated. And so we had Ashlyn, Lauren, our 3 kids, and then the other little girl we were fostering at the time.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's where it started. So Ashlyn shared with us her experience of reporting her abuse and then being up all night and then being taken to the Department of Social Service office. She was exhausted, traumatized, and she fell asleep in her case manager's cubicle chair. And my husband and I had been looking for a way to serve even more children outside our home. And that's when the light bulb went off. I thought we can do better than that. We could at least go to our local office, see if they'll let us put in a couch, an entertainment system, a rocking chair, something more comfortable for these kids during this time, whether they're spending hours waiting for a placement or
Right.
they do have to be there overnight.
Yeah.
So
And you know
that's
what,
what's
Jennifer, I think people do not realize that the length of time that kids sit and no matter what you call them, you can call them rainbow rooms, you can call them hope houses. These are holding cells,
mm-hmm.
and they are holding cells where, I mean, I've met some girls just recently in one of our states where they'd been there for 2 days. Two
Yeah.
days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is not acceptable
No.
that kids are coming in and first of all, you're closing all of our group homes, okay?
Right.
Because
Right.
and by the way, there are good group homes and there are bad group homes, just like there are good
Mm-hmm.
foster parents and there are bad foster parents, good adoptive parents and bad adoptive parents, good humans and bad humans. But
Yeah.
the problem I have is when I hear about these kids who are, by the way, our kids that are
Mm-hmm.
like sleeping in a reclining chair,
Right.
sleeping in an office chair.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
was, just recently my family sent towels to a child welfare system because we found out that they had some kids sleeping in the office and they were sharing a towel,
Oh,
to clean
yeah.
up. I mean, this is the kind of crap that is going on in our
Right.
country, and people
Right.
keep saying, oh, it's getting better, it's getting better. But I'm sorry to say, it's not getting better fast enough.
No, it's not getting any better. And even if the children are not spending overnights in the offices, they deserve a space prepared for them to make them feel like somebody loves them and somebody expected. Like, I just can't imagine a child coming from what Ashlyn experienced, the trauma, and coming into an office and then being like, this is better than what I was in. The trauma they've already experienced, and we're adding trauma. They're sitting in a case manager's cubicle listening to rejection phone calls of this foster home can't take them, or hearing their story retold, or hearing other children's stories retold. And that just wasn't, we just couldn't have that. And that's where the idea of LilyPad came to be was, let's create a space within our local office where these kids, when they get brought into the office, they automatically have a bed to lay down on, whether it's for a few hours or they are there overnight, or a rocking chair. We spoke to an occupational therapist, and she told us if a child could just rock in a rocking chair for 5 to 10 minutes, maybe a child that has sensory or therapeutic needs, they could rock in a rocking chair for 5 to 10 minutes. They can retain difficult information better. It can calm them down, just like us as adults, swinging on a porch swing or on a hammock.
Yeah,
So we include a rocking chair, weighted blankets, sensory toys. We have an entertainment
I
system,
love it.
Nintendo Switch, like the whole setup. So they know somebody has prepared a place for them. They are loved. And the case managers, just like you were saying, there's good humans and bad humans. There are great case managers, wonderful case managers, and not good case managers. We know that. But the majority of the case managers that I come across love these children and want to serve them the best they can. And so the LilyPad spaces are giving them the tools to serve these children. I recently was in an office and a case manager approached me and she had tears in her eyes and she told me of a story of a child who had just witnessed a murder. And she was able to bring that child into the LilyPad space and he was able to curl up into the bed and fall asleep. And she said to be able to serve that child in that way just calmed her took the trauma away from her of having to take care of this child during this time. So we're really thankful for the impact that the spaces are having, not just for the children, but for our professionals in Department of Social Services.
Let me tell you something. This is something that I see that needs to be nationwide. This is something that needs to be in every single county, in every single state, because I'm telling you right now, it is happening in every single county
It
and
is.
every
It is.
single state.
Yeah, this is not just South Carolina. We have actually had over 20 states reach out to us about needing this in their state. And we're a young organization. We just started in March of 22. So
Wow.
we are a
Wow.
very young organization, but we realized very early on the need is not just local to South Carolina.
It's not. And like I said, I travel all over the country, and I go to these child welfare centers, and I meet a lot of these kids, and their stories are literally heartbreaking. Especially when you look at the older children. My husband and I in 2023, we adopted our fifth child, and when he came to live with us, he was 18.
Wow.
He been in the system, and he was going to be one of these kids that was going to be thrown to the wayside, which is something that we continue to keep doing to children. And when we put them in these situations where they don't feel secure, I was talking to somebody and I said, you wonder why the statistics show that 80% of our death row inmates were in foster care? Because because we have literally made them feel that they are the forgotten children, the not wanted children. And at the end of the day, they actually come in because of a choice that someone else made. Jennifer, I'm really, really big as a nonprofit, as a pod host, to push people to donate. I want people to donate. I want people to go to your site. I want people to help. So tell me, how can people do that?
Our website is lilypadinc.org, and they can go right to our website. There is a donate button in the bottom right-hand corner, and they can donate there. We're also, we have a presence on Instagram. Same thing, lilypadinc.org.
Okay, well, listen up, everybody. This is what I'm asking for you to do. And I don't think that this is something that is too hard. $1 adds up to $2, which adds up to $5, which, by the way, $10, you can get a pillow. Okay. So every dollar counts, and for all of my friends and family who are in the South Carolina area, I'm assuming that, if somebody wanted to donate a new bed, we can make that happen. What I would like to do for our organization at Comfort Cases is we would like to send some cases down to make sure that you have cases there for them. And our cases are new pajamas and toiletry items, and a book, a coloring book, or a journal for the older kids. And that way, when the kids arrive, they're given this backpack and all these brand new items, so at least they have something of their own in the beginning. I mean, we've given out over 220,000 cases all over our country in every state. I want to connect with you and start having them at the LilyPad.
Yeah, let's do it. I still see kids in South Carolina coming with trash bags, and there's a bag in the storage closet down the hallway. And I'm like, come on now, we can do better than this. So I'd love to partner with you on that. And I agree with you. The statistics of why we see so much of our homeless population, our incarcerated population, being former foster youth, is because we are not showing these kids that they are valued. They don't have a support system, and they're ripe to be victims. And we can do better. Our communities, if they know about the need, can do better.
I agree.
Yeah. And I have to tell you the best part of this story with LilyPad, as far as how I came to know. So the reason I share the girls' names, I won't often share the names of our children in foster care, but Ashlyn and Lauren are very important. And Ashlyn is a key player in LilyPad because she not only shared her experience with us, and she was partnering with us to help bring these changes, but my sister, I told you my family stepped up and they wanted to help keep these girls safe while we waited for what their next steps were. And my husband and I were not in a position to adopt the girls, but my sister, who is 4 years older than me, never been married, didn't have any children. She's always worked in the high school systems here in South Carolina. She fell in love with them immediately. It was evident to everybody. And she came to me and she said, if the girls need to be adopted, could I be considered as their adopted mom? And it makes me emotional talking about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So in March of this year, she adopted Ashlyn and Lauren. Yeah. And so they're together and they are still a part of our family and they're my nieces now. And it's been just an awesome way to see how God has worked to bring these girls into our lives to share what they've experienced. And for us to be able to share their experience with our community and get our community involved to make a change for other kids coming after them, but then also to provide a mother for them through my sister. It's just been amazing.
Oh
So
my gosh, I'm going to tell you something. That is a story I never expected. That is a full circle moment. Oh my gosh, I talk about it all the time about people who are good humans. You, your husband, your sister, I mean, you literally have changed their lives. I mean, you literally have
well,
changed their
they've
lives.
changed our lives.
That's what
I
I
mean,
say when people say
yeah,
that about my five kids. They always say they'll say,
yeah,
you've changed your life. And I'm like, no, they changed my life. I mean,
yeah,
totally changed my life.
yeah.
Jennifer, I have to tell you, I meet lots of people, and I'm very very fortunate. But I will tell you, I've never met anybody who's so genuine, pure as you are, and you have been put here for a reason. And I love the fact that you are taking that reason and you are making change with that. And that is some more that we need in this world, in this country. And we have to understand these children truly do deserve to be loved. And wow, your sister,
Absolutely.
I'm blown away by it. I mean, I'm just like
That's great.
literally, I'm like, I want you and your
That's great.
sister to come and be on my podcast again because I
We
just
would
think
do it.
that
Yeah.
whole feeling, I had never met anyone who had done an older adoption. And so when we adopted our older son, our other four kids came when they were 6 months, 2, and 4. And so,
Okay.
but when we adopted our older son, there was always that feeling, but I mean, it's almost like he's always been with me. He's always been my son.
Yeah.
We're very bonded. My husband and him are very close too. He's close to his siblings. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that, as you said, they are now your nieces. Listen,
Yeah.
everybody, we all have an opportunity to make a difference in the life of a child. And I have said this and I'll say this over and over. When you invest in a child, you actually invest in our future, not their future, our future, because they are our leaders of tomorrow, our leaders of tomorrow. And do you want that leaders behind bars, or do you want that leader to be productive? And to make sure that they're productive, we have to be there for them. We have to be there for them. And I'm going to tell you, that's what LilyPad is making them feel, is that there's somebody there for them. Jennifer, we're going to have the link to your website
Thank
right
you.
on this. And so we were going to push people. We have over 300,000 followers through all of our sites, and we are going to be pushing people to donate, because the fact is that I want to see this nationwide. I want to see you and
Do
I
it.
come
Let's do it.
back here in a year and you talk to me about how many other states have now opened up a LilyPad. And by the way, if there's anything that you ever need, you please reach out to me, because I want to get comfort cases to you. I want to get comfort XLs to you. I want to get all the things that you need, but I also want to make sure that I'm here to let you know that, we're an international nonprofit, and I would be more than happy to do anything I can to see you grow what you have already started, because every single county needs a LilyPad. Everybody, until next time, it is 2024. I hope you're keeping those resolutions. I try not to make many because I tend to break them all. But the one thing I do know is that I want to see change happen. Jennifer, thank you for being on Fostering Change. And until next time, everybody,
Me.
continue to go out there and be a good human. Hey everybody, it's Rob Scheer, the founder of Comfort Cases, and thanks for tuning in to Fostering Change. You can actually watch a couple of episodes right here